Hello students, welcome again. Students, in today's lecture, we want to discuss the influence of French Revolution on English literature towards the end of the 18th and in the beginning of the 19th century. See, we know that literature is always the reflection of the society in which it is written. Okay, so whatever social changes or political changes are taking place in one particular country, and when the author writes literature, he tries to reflect the social and political changes in his literature, and as a result we can say that literature is the reflection of life and society. What happened towards the end of the 18th century? Remember this date, 1789, 14th July 1789, the French Revolution began in France, and as a result, the prison of Bastille was fallen down by some of the revolutionaries, and this movement spread very faster across all countries in Europe, and then it gained the importance as a political and social movement not only in France but in Europe. Okay, it had a deep and far reaching influence in the shaping of the future of the whole Europe, and in the same manner, it had an influence on English literature. You can see this picture. This picture it presents the Bastille. Okay, Bastille was a castle in which the poor people were captured by the nobles, by the rich people, and in 1789 this Bastille was broken up by some of the revolutionaries, poor people, the poor farmers, and as a result of this fall of Bastille, the French Revolution gained much importance. Okay, so French Revolution was basically a political movement against the feudal system of France. Okay, there were some people, feudal people, the nobles, they were not paying the taxes, and the poor people, the farmers, were laid so much burden of taxes, and as a result there was a conflict between the nobles and the poor tenants, right? In society, in European society, particularly in French society, there were three classes: nobles, upper clergy, and the poor tenants. As I told you, the nobles did not pay taxes, and they continued exploiting the poor people, and that's why in 1789 there was a reaction, there was a rebellion against the noble people. Noble people means the rich people, okay, which is known as the French Revolution. The poor and the exploited people, they started revolting against the age old system, the age old politics. Okay, the farmers who suffered and starved for such a long period of time, they came out of their farms and they started murdering, they started killing the rich people who were exploiting them. As a result, there was a huge social and political change, not only in France, but also the same thing was repeated in other countries as well. Okay, William Wordsworth has summarized this French Revolution. Try to understand this line. Wordsworth says, "But Europe at that time was thrilled with joy." There was joy all around among the poor farmers. France standing on the top of the golden hours. Okay, everywhere in Europe, there was a reaction, there was this revolution, but France was the leader. Okay, France was standing on the top of the golden hours, and human nature seeming born again. So new human nature is born after 1789. Okay, who are the great contributors or thinkers of this French Revolution? Let me tell you, and then later on in this video, I will also talk about how this French Revolution influenced English literature. Okay, in those times, the governments were quite insensible, quite inhuman. Okay, they did not have that human approach with the poor people, and that's why poor people were wrongly imprisoned by the feudal lords. Okay, so protest started against the government, against the feudal lords. The revolt was led by some major thinkers like Jean-Jacques Rousseau and so many others. Remember this name, Jean-Jacques and Rousseau. They were the great thinkers who supported this movement in those times towards the end of the 18th century. Rousseau, who was a writer, who was writing essays. In one of his essays, wrote this line: "Man is born free, but everywhere he is in chains." Right? By birth we are free, but we are bound by these feudal lords, and that's why he supported this movement. These thinkers believed that the king should be responsible for the welfare of the people. The king should not support those nobles who are exploiting the poor people. The king is actually the servant of the people, right? There should be a democratic approach with all classes in the country, which was not found before 1789 in France and also in other countries. Okay, so there was a need of new democracy in France and other countries. So after 1789, you find the rise of a new democracy in the country. Okay, when French Revolution started, the whole atmosphere was confused and terrific. There was anarchy, there was disorder everywhere in the country. Okay, the people started destroying the public places, palaces and the prisons. Okay, even the guards of the king were killed by the poor farmers who were exploited, right? The king himself was also punished to death in 1793. So the whole control was now taken up by these farmers, poor farmers who were exploited. Okay, so the atmosphere was quite violent. Okay, the death of the king gave birth to a new era of democratic approach, democratic politics. Okay, the sun, the moon, the stars, the sky, the nature, man and human nature itself assumed new aspect as the bell of liberty. Fraternity means brotherhood, okay, and equality toiled in France. So a new wind of brotherhood, new wind of freedom, liberty, and equality started in France. So that was the rise of democracy. Right? Which are the main ideals of this French Revolution? Okay, they believed that human beings are equal. Okay, man is born free, but he is in bondages. Everyone should be treated equally. Okay, on in the society. So freedom is man's first right. You remember 1789 French Revolution started, and 1798 the period of romantic revival began. What is one of the important features of romantic revival? That was the love for freedom. So this love for freedom of romanticism is actually coming from this French Revolution. Okay, so freedom, equality among all human beings, and Rousseau also gave importance to the sensitivity and feelings, right? Humanitarian approach. I feel, therefore I am. So man to man kind of emotional attachment, which you see in Wordsworth also, in Keats and Shelley also, that actually comes from French Revolution. Another important ideal of this French Revolution was everyone has individual identity, and this identity should be respected. Everyone is a different person, he has a different personality, and we must respect every individual in the society, no matter whether he is a poor or he is rich, no matter to which class he belongs, no matter whether he lives in urban area or rural area. And brotherhood is must among all human beings. So these are some 4 to 5 ideals of French Revolution. Okay, now how this changed? Now, French Revolution was a political movement. Okay, it was a social change, social movement. But then it influenced English literature. Why? Because society influences literature, and literature in turn influences the society. Right? The French Revolution had great impact on literature, English literature. Why? Because there were the poets like William Wordsworth, Astor Coleridge, P.B. Shelley. They were mainly influenced. If you read the book like The Right of Man, The Age of Reason, there we come to this idea that these people like Coleridge, Wordsworth, and Shelley, they were much influenced by this movement. Okay. Even in the book Political Injustice, Godwin has emphasized on the reformation of the society. He has talked about justice, he has talked about equality, and also about brotherhood. So these new ideas were now found in literature just after 1789, just after the beginning of French Revolution. And that is the reason why if you read Victorian novels of the 19th century, or if you read some romantic poetry of the 19th century, poetry of Wordsworth, Coleridge, and Shelley, there also you find these ideas of brotherhood, these ideas of equality. So one by one, let me explain. Wordsworth was also influenced by this French Revolution. Okay, he accepted this new change with full enthusiasm. If you read his poem The Prelude, there you come across this line. Try to understand this line, which shows us how French Revolution influenced William Wordsworth. Bliss was it. Bliss means happiness. Okay, peaceful happiness. Bliss was it in that dawn to be alive. Dawn means early morning. Okay, French Revolution has been considered as a new morning of the new day by William Wordsworth. So bliss was it in that dawn to be alive. If you are living during that period of French Revolution, it was a happy time, but to be young was very heaven. Okay, so that is how Wordsworth has supported this French Revolution. In Astor Coleridge also you find that he had great respect for all the ideals of brotherhood and equality which are found in French Revolution. He considered these ideals noble and relevant. He felt very happy when the king was killed and the prisons were broken, and he was delighted to see that the prisoners who were locked inside Bastille, they were coming out of this Bastille, out of these jails. Okay, and he looked at a new sunshine, a new morning of England. Even Robert Southey was also much influenced by this revolutionary thought, and he expressed the most violent ideas in his epic John of Arc, and also in his drama Wat Tyler. In his number of minor poems also we find some radical and spirited love for this French Revolution. Lord Byron was another poet who was influenced by French Revolution. Byron himself was a lover of freedom, so he joined the Italian freedom fighters in the war in his personal life also, and he has written the poem Don John and Child Harold. There he has presented the ideas of equality, fraternity, brotherhood, freedom, and all such ideas. Okay, even P.B. Shelley also, if you read the Revolt of Islam, or if you read Prometheus Unbound, there, or if you read the poem Ode to the West Wind, there you find these ideas of French Revolution very well artistically expressed by P.B. Shelley in all his poems. So, all in all, you can say that French Revolution influenced Wordsworth and Coleridge on the sentimental side, and Shelley on the intellectual side, and Byron on the political side. So these poets, Keats was not much influenced by this French Revolution. All in all, let me conclude this discussion by saying that French Revolution was a world event. Why? Because though it began in France, but it influenced the whole world at large, particularly if I talk about Europe. Okay, it shaped the destiny and future of so many countries. Okay, and it shaped the destiny and future of English literature also. Why? Because it influenced the whole Romantic movement, which began from 1798 in the hands of Wordsworth and Coleridge, the publication of lyrical ballads, the feelings of freedom, equality, brotherhood, justice, they were prevalent in all the poetry written by some romantic poets like Shelley, Wordsworth, Coleridge, Byron, and so on. And that is the reason why you can say that French Revolution heralded, it began a new era of English literature, and that is what we call the period of Romantic revival. So all in all, you can say the period of Romantic revival, Romanticism, was actually the result of the previous social movement called French Revolution. So I hope now the idea is clear to you. I hope this video is helpful to you. Please do comment if you really like the video, and please do share this video among all your friends and classmates. Thank you for watching. Thank you.